This is gonna be a tier list for high rank. Okay, this is not gonna be a tier list for pro play. So I'm talking ladder play, and I'll explain to you kind of like why some heroes work, why some don't. Okay, so Abrams. Not only is Abrams really easy to play, like it's really easy to get very high value out of him. People on low rank struggle with him because he punches. But even if you're really good at dodging the punches, even Gun Abrams is insane. He's like the tankiest tank in the game. His ult is insane for stealing mid-boss, right? Because you get unstoppable while casting it, so you can't get like stunned during it. He's really good in lane. He's very easy to play to get value out of. You don't need precise aim, and you can play anything you want. You can play Punch Abrams or Gun Abrams, and it's gonna work. This is the easiest character in the game to play. This is like the Mercy equivalent in Overwatch. Even if he wasn't easy to play, he's just so tanky, he's the best tank in the game. He's the best character in the game to absorb and deal damage close range, to go in, to initiate fights, and to just like fucking brawl. Bebop, A tier. They nerfed his ult quite a bit, but he's still insane. Like, Bebop is probably the best character in lane in the game. Bebop is the only character in the game that has a true hit scan ability. Hit scan means that the bullets register immediately, and because Bebop has a laser, there's no travel time on his bullets because it's a laser, so he instantly denies anything. Obviously, if you get a hook in a lane and you're in a dual lane, you get a free kill every time, and then he can build like around his ult, or he can do Echo Shard double sticky. He scales insane into the late game because you can, like, every time you stick someone, you get even more damage on the stick, right? So it scales insanely well into the late game. If he doesn't mega hard win the lane, then he becomes kind of mid in the mid game. For that reason, I'm only going to put him high A tier and not S tier. Dynamo is probably the best character in the game. Black Hole by itself is the best ability in the game by far. Even if you're mega behind in games, if you hit one good Black Hole, you can turn the entire game around. The best character to come back and the best character to just win teamfights on your own. The issue is, you will need a team, right? So if you Black Hole and no one is around, you know, it's gonna feel like shit. But on high rank, people are good enough to follow up on the Black Hole. Dynamo is the best character to come back from behind. Dynamo has insane survivability. He has insane support for his team. Like his teleport ability, you can save teammates with it. You can save yourself with it, right? He's insane. He's like the best support character in the game and probably the best character in the game. Great Talon is the worst character in the game. Yeah, Great Talon is trash. For the record, if I put him in trash, like, he's still playable, okay? This is not like Overwatch where trash heroes are not playable. He's just weaker than everyone else. Like, he kind of does what Vindicta does, but worse. He's a ranged character. He's really good in lane. He does a lot of damage in lane. But then his ult is also pretty good to confirm kills over the map. But otherwise, he doesn't really do anything better than Vindicta. So it's just like a budget Vindicta. He's mega squishy. Vindicta is also more survivable in my opinion, right? Vindicta has more lockdown with the stake and more damage. And the ult of Vindicta is also better because it gives gold to the entire team. If you play Great Talon, you're kind of like a Hanzo player in Overwatch. Nobody really likes you and you're just here to annoy people. Haze, I'm gonna put A tier. Now I know what you're gonna say.
Metro, Haze kills me in my game every time, and Haze presses 4 and everyone dies.
Thing is, there's a lot of counters to Haze, and she's really weak early game, in my opinion. Like, I think she's pretty weak in lane still. There's certain lane combos he can do, like with Abrams, where she can be really good, but solo in the lane, she's really weak. And she takes a lot of farm to get online. And until then, she's not that scary. She's a noob stomper. If you get caught out and you're out of position a lot, Haze is the best character to punish you because she runs around the map so fast and she's invis. That's why I think low rank players perceive Haze as like the most broken character in the game. While she is really good, she's not the best. If you buy metal skin for her ult, you just don't die. And she's really squishy. So if you see a Haze out of position, if you focus her first, she dies a lot of the time. I'm gonna rate Wraith higher than Haze for the record. Like, I don't think she's OP. Infernus, also a great solid character. Infernus is decent in the lane, but then the issue is that he takes ages to come online. He needs a lot of farm, which means that the rest of the team has to do more, right? While he is AFK in the jungle. So in certain team comps, Infernus is not great because if a lot of people on your team need farm, then the Infernus tends to be useless for a long time. But that being said, once you get farm on Infernus, he wins the game by himself. I might refine this. Maybe we'll put him down to B tier. But right now, I think he's low A tier. If you get farmed, he's the hardest carry character in the game, right? He can't die anymore late game, and he puts burn on people and they just die, right? If you get farm on Infernus, he's the best character in the game, late game. Hardest late game carry. So Ivy is obviously really good in pro play because a good Ivy I've seen some sick plays where Ivy goes in with an ult and saves people. I've seen some sick steals with Ivy's stone form, right? Ivy is pretty weak in lane. She's a support character. If you're a good Ivy, you can basically multiply the impact of your team. That's how you have to think about it, in my opinion. Now, if your team sucks in rank play, then Ivy does nothing. Like, yeah, you can build her like gun Ivy and make her do a lot of damage, but there's better options. Why not play Wraith at that point? This tier list is mostly based on like, pick this character and you can carry. And I don't think you can carry with Ivy. Yeah, Kelvin busted. Yeah, so Kelvin gun build is the new meta. Like, it's insane damage. Kelvin is insane in lane. Kelvin has one of the best ults in the game, right? His ult can isolate people in team fights. It can keep you alive. It can keep your team alive. His ice beam stops people from shooting you. Stops people from escaping. He's fucking broken. He also has the highest gun damage in the game somehow. So now people are building full DPS Kelvin, and it's insane. There's not a single composition in the game that is bad with Kelvin. Kelvin works in every single composition in the game and he just wins games by himself. Lady Geist. She's like the second best laner in the game after Bebop, in my opinion. Her abilities do ridiculous amount of damage. If you lose your lane on Lady Geist, you're fucking garbage. Her 1 does insane nuke damage in lane. If you're in a 1v1 lane on Lady Geist, you shouldn't lose against anyone because she does so much damage. Now the issue is after laning, she's useless. She can't really stun people, right? She doesn't have an easy way to get in or out of team fights. Good players will try to be out of her range for her ult. So a lot of the time you will just end up dying. Or even if you life swap, good players are good at stunning you right after. So you get punished for the life swap. But I don't know how to fix the character. It's actually kind of hard because, like, again, she's so good in lane. C tier, I'm not going to put her in trash because I think if you have like an insane lane, you can like snowball from the lane and hard carry. And I've seen some Lady Guys hard carry. I just don't think she's great. Okay, so Lash is like the highest movement character in the game. He has insane mobility. He's the best character at initiating team fights. His ult has insane carry potential. You can throw people into your spawn, right? You can throw people back into the enemy spawn. If you hit a fat ult, you can steal the Rejuvenator. He's very good in lane. He has a very good base stat game. Like, his gun is very good in lane. His ground slam is very good in lane. He's not the best laner, but he's insane, right? The only thing is that in the very late game, he kind of falls off a bit. He's really, really strong, and I'm gonna put him low S tier. I don't think... Actually, I'm gonna put him A tier for now. Because I don't think he's as OP as the S tier characters, but he's like one of the most solid characters in the game. I think if you pick Lash and you're a good Lash, you can carry. McGinnis. I tried to, like, the character is so bad. Like, sometimes it works, but most of the time you just sit there and you split push. And if you get really farmed, then the turrets are annoying, but you're just kind of annoying, you know? Like, I feel like if I have a McGinnis on my team, most of the time they just never help in team fights. You have a fight, your entire team dies, you look on the map and McGinnis is pushing like a side lane. There's just nothing great about the character. I guess the laning is pretty good, but like, I think it's the second worst character in the game. You know who gets value though? This fucking pig character. Holy fucking shit. Mo and Krill has a button where you can't play the game. It's like Dynamo, but a bit worse because it only affects one person, but it's lower cooldown, right? So if you catch anyone, they're dead, basically. Then he has the longest disarm in the game. If he uses this arm, like he throws sand in your eyes or some shit, and then you can't shoot. Yeah, he's good in lane, he has insane regen. He's not gonna be able to hard carry the game by himself. If everyone else on your team is shit and nobody follows up on your combos, then you can't do damage, right? I want to say his abilities are the most versatile in terms of like shutting the enemy team down, making the enemy team unable to play the game. Easily S tier. Paradox low A tier. If you're really insane on Paradox, like Michaels, you know, or something, she can be very good. She's one of the strongest laning characters if you play her well. And she has insane initiation potential, right? Like if she initiates a fight by swapping someone and playing it well, she can initiate the fight and get a fight-winning swap for your team. But I just don't think she's as solid as the ST characters. Solid hybrid between a support and a DPS character. I'm actually gonna put Infernus below Paradox. Actually, I'm gonna put Infernus B. Pocket? I think Pocket is better than Lash. Pocket, same thing, insane initiation, insane burst, and the most survivable character in the game. Like, Pocket can get out of any situation for free. The ult is insane. If you hit like multiple people with your ult, they have to back out. You can win the team fight on your own with the ult. Insanely survivable. You can play him insanely aggressively, and you can play him very passively, and he's gonna be great no matter what. Like, there's not a single character that can counter Pocket, really. Yeah, but he's really hard to play, yes, that is true. Like, he's not an easy character to pick up, right? The mechanics are pretty advanced. Yeah, I'm gonna put him low S. 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay. 7 is in the 7 tier. He's like kinda like a noob character with a free stun, and the ult is a hard counter against noobs. Like the ult is like really good against bad players, because bad players will like just ignore it and they burn to death. But good teams will either hard focus 7 when he's in ult, or they will just line of sight it and then the 7 ult does nothing. And other than that, 7 is just not great. He doesn't have insane damage. The stun is really good. There's people running Echo Shard, right? So you can play like a support 7 where you just perma-stun the enemy team. So he's not awful. Realistically, he's B tier, but like, you know, we'll put him in 7 tier. He's like B tier. He's a noob stomper, but I think on high rank he's not very great. Vindicta is fucking broken. It's the best DPS in the game by far. You don't have to interact with anyone. Vindicta is if you want to play PvE. On Vindicta, you're not playing against other players because they can't hit you. You just sit in the skybox and you play Dust 2 on Counter-Strike, right? Where you sit down with a AWP and snipe people. Vindicta players are scared of other human beings. They don't want to interact with them, and they don't have to. Stake stops them from moving, disarms them. Crows do insane damage on highest level. If anyone is half HP, they die to the snipe. You get more money from sniping, and you're insanely survivable because you just... If you position correctly, you can't die. The only counter to Vindicta is like knockdown, buying knockdown, but a good Vindicta will get out of range before the knockdown hits. She's fucking broken. Yeah, she has no damage fall off. She's fucking broken in lane 2. Fuck this character, man. The blue characters in this game are the worst, unironically. Like, if you play Abrams or Vindicta, I don't like you. Warden, B tier. Actually, I'm gonna put Warden C tier. And I'm gonna put Pocket A tier, because like, there's too many characters in S. Warden is just like kinda a tank, but like he has a stun that has a delay, but like, why not play Abrams, you know? Or Moan Krill. His ult is really shit because it takes so long to channel. 90% of the time you're dead before you use it, or you use it and the enemy realizes you use it and they run away and then you do nothing with it. The rest of his kit is fine. He's terrible in lane because his bullet travel time is so high, so he doesn't... A good player will just roll out of your stun every time, so you can't do anything in lane. He's just shit. Wraith, A tier. Better than Haze, in my opinion. I think Wraith is very good in lane, then kinda is weak in mid game, but is an insanely late game character, insanely hard carry late game character. Once Wraith gets money, she shits on everyone. If you ask for like late game carries, I would say Vindicta, Wraith, and Haze are the top 3 for damage, right? Like all the other characters in A tier and S tier are really utility based. But if you want, like, if it gets to the late game, you need damage, and those 3 characters provide a lot of damage. Wraith is really, really good in 1v1 scenarios, and Wraith can also steal the rejuve if you level up her ult to max. I think she's really good. I'll put Paradox in B. Yamato, trash tier. Looks like an alien head. It's like also a late game DPS character that needs insane farm. But why play Yamato if Wraith or Haze or Vindicta exist? She's solid in lane, and then she needs a lot of farm to be useful. And before then, she's actually kind of useless. Yeah. Okay. Shiv, broken as fuck. There's too many characters in S tier, man. But this is accurate, though. S tier characters are the broken characters. Shiv can just run in 1v4 and not die. You bleed people to death. You never lose health. You can't die. You can execute people when they're low. You can 1v5 in some fights. Yeah, did I mention you can't die? S tier? Okay, listen. Whoops. Bang, bang. Alright, there you go. Like, I'm actually gonna put him above Abrams and Vindicta. He's fucking stupid, bro. Nerf him. Viscus. Yeah, I'm gonna put Viscus in A. Viscus is really fucking strong. The thing is, most Viscus players are bad. They're not using the abilities correctly. If you use Viscus abilities correctly, he's like the 2nd best laner in the game after Bebop. And maybe Lady Geist, or the 3rd best laner, right? Like, so Viscus should never lose the lane. And then, like, his cube can save anyone at any point in time. His ball is insane to get out, get in, stun people. Like, he's like the best support, but he can also build him for gun damage, so he can also just keep on fighting and winning. Yeah, again, this is coming from a point of pretty high level games, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think this is pretty accurate. I'm happy with it. Yeah, this is the only accurate list. Any other tier list you watch is incorrect. I'm right, you're wrong, that's it.